Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Week 13 NFL predictions. I was supposed to do this Wednesday night or morning, but I screwed up my schedule, so now I'm going to do it right now. Get it done because there is a game at 12 o'clock Central, 10 a.m. Pacific. So I gotta get this rolling right now. Anyways, I'm gonna be quick today because I got things to do. I'm gonna just hang out today for the most part and pretty much try to do nothing else important. But for the Thanksgiving games, your announcers are Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady. For Green Bay and Detroit, Kansas City, Dallas, Jim Nance, Tony Romo. Cincinnati and Baltimore, Mike Tirico, Jason Garrett. Chicago, Philly, that should be Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels. Denver and Washington, the drill on that. And then Giants, Patriots, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. Okay, CBS early window. You have most of you getting Houston and Indy, which is going to be an impactful division game. While apparently more half is getting San Fran and Cleveland, and then the rest of you will be getting Jacksonville at Tennessee. And then for the CBS late window, you have basically most of America getting the Bills and the Steelers. And then the rest of you are getting the Raiders and the Chargers in basically 90% of California, parts of Oregon, and basically part of Nevada, and just a teensy bit of Arizona. And then the rest of America is just all Bills, Steelers. All right. Now going into the Fox single window, most of you are expecting to get either Rams, Panthers, or Minnesota at Seattle. That will be your game to get on your local channel, while the rest of you are going to get the rest of the games. All right. Now we have a lot of elimination scenarios this week. I mean, 6 teams can get eliminated from postseason contention this week. So there's no playoffs clinching scenarios this week. I guess we'll have to wait another week, potentially 14. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, we're gonna get started with elimination scenarios. So Arizona can be eliminated this week with a Cardinal loss, a Bears win, and a Packer win. So both Chicago and Green Bay need to win on Thursday and Friday, and then Arizona will need to lose to Tampa Bay to put their season is basically over. But we will see what happens. Commanders can be eliminated this week with a loss, a Packer win, a Seahawk win, and a Bears and Eagle tie. So if the Eagles and Bears both tie, then that would put, and if Seattle and Green Bay would win, then I would put Washington eliminated. The Saints are eliminated with a loss and a Tampa win or and tie, and then the Saints are eliminated also with a loss and a Panthers win or tie. So we'll see what happens with that. And then that's all the NFC elimination scenarios for this week. And then we're going into the AFC. Tennessee's eliminated with just a loss, or if they somehow beat the Jaguars, they can get one of these scenarios to happen, like a Bills and Texans win, a Bills win and Chiefs win, or a Ravens and Chiefs win. So regardless of it, I believe the Titans will actually be eliminated, unless if all these teams flop. We'll see, but I'm thinking that's it. And then the Jets can be eliminated this week. They need to lose, have a Jacksonville win, and a Buffalo win. And then you have the rest of the scenarios here. And then for the Raiders, they would need to lose, have a Bills win, and a Jacksonville win. And then you got the 6-1 as well with the same thing, but the Raiders losing, Jacksonville winning, and the Chiefs just win. But I believe the Raiders are going to be eliminated by Sunday, but we'll see what happens. And then that's all the elimination scenarios for this week. But yeah, that's it. Now we are going to week number 13, NFL predictions. So last week it was a terrible week. I went 8-6 with losses to the Bills, Texans. That one came back to Houston, won and upset Buffalo. The Chiefs came back and won. The Bears won. So no upsets on those games. And then I got for the rest of the morning games I won, and then for the afternoon window, Jacksonville survived, Cleveland survived, and then the Saints did not pull off the upset. Dallas got the upset, and then the Rams blew the gates out of the Bucks, and then the Panthers obviously. We're gonna talk about that game in a second. The Panthers had many chances to win on that, but the offensive was selling the bed really hard. Anyway, that brought my record to. Oh wait, I closed it on accident. I have to go back. So that brought my record to 8-6. That week was 8-6, which now brings my record to 109, 67, and 1. But anyway, now we're gonna get started with score predictions. Starting off with the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna go quick with these today. I have Detroit surviving just by a thread. Give me 23-20. I think this is going to be a good game for both teams. I think this is going to be a back and forth game. And I believe the Lions will get a big win out of this to put them back in themselves in the playoff seeding if they were to end today. Um, I'm expecting the Lions to get ready to rock and roll, and I think they're gonna put up a show and do what they need to do. I'm expecting them to be more aggressive. They need when it comes to like over aggression, it kills you. You need to sometimes have conservative plays and just take the points when you need them instead of overly spamming fourth down goal calls. But although it's been working, it hasn't had it as like sometimes it'll bite you in the butt. You know what I mean? Anyway, some other Lions news. I believe Frank Ragnow is coming back out of retirement. He will come back for the Lions, and that's going to be a huge, huge depth piece for the Lions. He will not be playing on Thanksgiving, obviously. He can't play. So, although it's already been injured, but Frank Ragnow is going to be a huge piece coming back for these Lions offensive line, and the Lions are back in business. I think he'll be playing in week 15, 14. I don't know. He could play as early as probably next week, but I believe he'll be ready to go by week number 15. But anyways, I have the Lions just surviving by a thread. I think it's going to be 23-20. Then you get the Chiefs and the Cowboys. I do have a prediction for this game. I believe this will be the most viewed NFL game of this season and potentially of all time. It's going to be in top 10 because the Chiefs, everybody a lot of people will watch the Chiefs and a lot of people will watch the Dallas Cowboys. I think this is going to be a market. This is going to make a lot of money, that's for sure. But anyways, here's my outcome for the game. This is probably going to be an offensive shootout. I think this is going to be an entertaining game for both teams. I'm expecting the Chiefs to to continue their hot streak as they've just won now their first game in like over 3 weeks, or over a month, I would say, or just about under a month. I think they're going to continue on their hot streak and their run. I think they're going to beat the Cowboys. I think it's going to be close, but will it be enough? We will find out. I think the Chiefs do win on Thanksgiving and get a huge win. I think this is going to be a shootout. Give me 28-24 in this one. And then you get the Ravens and the Bengals. This isn't going to change the outcome of the game. I still have the Ravens winning, although they are getting Joe Burrow back, and I'm expecting this to be a shootout as well. But the defense of the Bengals is absolute cheeks, and I still believe this season's a wash for them. So I don't know why you bring Joe Burrow back at this point, and you just want him healthy for next season with a new defense, hopefully, but probably not. But anyway, I'm just confident in the Ravens in this one. I think they're going to continue to be locked in. It hasn't been pretty for them. Don't get me wrong. It hasn't been perfect, but the Ravens are winning games, and that's what the Ravens need to do. They won their last 5 in a row. Although things are going to get tougher real soon, this is a big game that they need to win for divisional impacts. Otherwise, I'm expecting the Ravens to survive, and they'll get a huge win on the division, as I'll improve their record to 3-0 in division games. And right now, based off tiebreakers, the Ravens are up in the division race at 6-5 over the tiebreaker Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I think the Ravens are going to keep that division because I don't think the Steelers are coming back from this. The Steelers have been wonky as of the last couple weeks, but we will get into that in just a little bit. Now, we are going to dive into the Black Friday game, the Bears and the Eagles. Now, this is the Bears, I would say, first real opponent, but I don't think the Eagles are going to play as good as I'm predicting. The Eagles have been inconsistent all year. Although their record's 8-3, their defense is very phenomenal. It's still the same. They still have Vic Fangio. Eagles defense is completely fine. The offensive side of the ball, it is terrible. The last 3 games, only 10 points, 16, and 21. That's not good enough. Although the Eagles did score 21 first half points, they still lost the game 24-21. Now, I see them potentially choking in the playoffs because of their offense being a problem. Now, we'll have to see that down the line, but right now the Eagles' offense looks really bad. Well, not I wouldn't. It hasn't been as good, and it's been pretty underwhelming. The running game's been a big problem because Kevin Patullo, although the offensive line is not healthy with injuries to Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson, and then just the O line having some problems. As the right guard, Mekhi Becton was a huge miss. And then Cam Jurgens and Mailata are still there. But the problem is with the Eagles, Kevin Patullo sucks at play calling, so I think that's the problem. And then meanwhile for Chicago, this is their first true opponent, a real test, other than the Lions. And then this is going to be another true test to see if they're really going to be contenders this year. Now, this is the part that they're entering their really hard stretch. They can easily fall to have a collapse at 9-8 and miss the playoffs. But they have their next 5 out of 6 games. This is probably the second hardest remaining schedule. The Panthers are number 1 for sure. But they have the Eagles, Green Bay twice, Cleveland, San Fran, Detroit. Anyway, my outcome for the Bears-Eagles, I think this is going to be a close game. I do have the Eagles surviving 28-23. I think they're going to be competitive all game, but the Eagles will survive and get a huge win in the conference play and a huge win to get them to 9-3. And this team can also be a fraud for the Eagles this year and Bears, but we'll have to see down the line. Anyways, give me 28-23 on Philly. Then we're gonna get into the Sunday games. I'm gonna speed up on these because I'm not gonna have a lot of time. San Fran and Cleveland. Fun fact: San Francisco has not won in Cleveland since 1984. Can it be? Can it happen for the first time in about 40 something years? Now, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think the Browns defense is going to give a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy, and we saw in 2023 their defense carried the entire game, and we saw the Browns win a very ugly football game because of their defense, and the offense needed what they needed to do. Now, that doesn't mean it'll happen in this one, but I'm really confident. I think the Browns are going to upset the 49ers in this one. I think the Browns, they need to be aware that the Browns is not going to be an easy opponent. They have the number 2 defense in football, and they will give Brock Purdy a lot of pressure. They will give Purdy a lot of pressure. And if Shedeur Sanders does what he needs to do, he doesn't have to be perfect. I think the Browns are going to upset the Niners in this one. as they're going to give Purdy a lot of pressure. You're gonna probably have to give the ball to McCaffrey like a lot of times in this one, but I don't think that's still gonna be enough. I think the Browns defense is going to hammer the Niners. I think Miles Garrett's in for another historic season, another historic day. He's been on a roll, 18 sacks, and he's on pace for 27.8. So if we're running it, he's on average for 10 more sacks this season. And my goodness, this guy's probably a lock for Defensive Player of the Year. Anyway, I think the Browns. This is gonna be probably a stupid pick, but I'm going with the Browns in an upset. Give me 19-16. This is gonna be an ugly football game, but I think the Browns defense is going to play a huge role in the reason why the Browns win that game. Give me 19-16, dude. Imagine the Browns defense just on Cincinnati's part. Just imagine the Browns defense on the Bengals. They would be a Super Bowl contender. I'm not even kidding, but that's not. All right, give me the. Now we're gonna do Jacksonville and Tennessee. This game's gonna be boring, but I think the Jaguars are gonna win this one. This is gonna be another boring football game. I'm gonna go with 20-7. I think the offense stalls. Cam Ward, I believe he will need to throw the ball in this game, as Jacksonville's running defense has been pretty much good the entire season, I believe. For the most part, they've been limiting the run as like they in the Cardinal game, you barely had any rushing attack on that, and then the Chargers, the running game was absolutely dead against the Jaguars, and then the Texans. Woody Marks did okay. They except for the Texans, I guess, and then the Raiders. Jenny was limited, and then the Rams. Kyron Williams was limited for the most part. I think their worst game was just against Houston. Other than that, they've been holding the run really good all season. As that's been an important factor for this Jacksonville team, holding the run and limiting options. Their worst game by far was the Texans game in Week 10. But I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to make Cam Ward have to throw the ball. I don't think Tony Pollard's going to have a good day, but it's still not going to be enough. I think the Jacksonville defense is going to feast on the Tennessee offense. Give me 20-7. Now we're going to go to Houston and Indy. This is one of my upsets again. This is my second one. I'm gonna take Houston over Indy in an upset. Give me 20-17. I think this is gonna be another defensive battle. Um, I think the Texans defense is gonna come into play, pressure Daniel Jones to having turnover problems in this one. This is gonna be a not friendly matchup for Daniel Jones. I think the Texans defense is gonna have another huge outing, as this is probably by far. I mean, I don't think it's close this year. Well, I don't know, but the Texans defense has been elite basically all year for the most part. Like it's been on a tear of the last couple of games. You gave Josh Allen pressured on week number 12. You got him to like eight times, eight times, which is unbelievable. Which is really unbelievable. And going into this, you need to pressure Daniel Jones and the offensive line, but you're probably facing a top O line in football. So this is going to be an interesting test to see who's going to win this matchup. You're probably going to have to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor and limit the pass attack. Now, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going with the Texans on the road to get an upset win. I'm going to take Houston 22-17. Now, we have the Saints and the Dolphins in this one. I think this is going to be more closer than people anticipate to be. I think Miami's going to win 24-23. I really don't care about this game. But I think the Dolphins' offense has been hot, and they're trying to extend their winning streak to 3 games. Although the Dolphins' secondary is a problem, It's a huge problem. It has not been good this season. So this is a huge opportunity for the Saints offensive side of the ball to bounce back and just continue to improve as this is probably going to be a shootout from both teams because both defenses suck. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to take the Saints to lose 24-23, and the Dolphins will get another win and continue rolling. And then the Falcons and the Jets is next. I do not give a. I really don't care about this game at all. I'm needing the Falcons to lose or New Orleans, but preferably the Falcons to lose. But I don't think that's gonna happen. They're playing the Jets. The Jets freaking suck. This is gonna be an ugly football game again. I'm gonna take 17-13. Um, I guess the Falcons defense is gonna give Justin Field or whoever's starting a lot of pressure in this matchup. Um, yeah, that's about it. I don't have much to say. Probably going to be a low scoring game. Um, and that's it. I really don't care about this game. I think the Falcons will do their thing, win 17-13, moving on. And then Cardinals and Buccaneers. This one's going to be interesting because Baker Mayfield is potentially not going to play in Week 13. He was a non-participant. He's dealing with an AC joint. If he doesn't play, then I think regardless of it, I'm gonna take the Cardinals to upset Tampa Bay, because of the outcome of this one. I'm gonna take the Cardinals 24, Buccaneers 21. Um, this will give a huge opportunity for the Cardinals to take advantage of this, and please do Arizona. Like we need to win this. They need to win this game so we can be right back in the division race. I mean, we technically are, but we want to be in first place. And if we do win, we would be in first place, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I think, regardless of Baker Mayfield, I think he's gonna have a problem. He could be back in and just be fine, but it's looking like he may miss Week 13. But anyways, I'm gonna take the Cardinals to upset, and Jacoby Brissett will have a good day. I will go with 24-21. And then I gotta get rolling because we're about like I'm probably gonna be 30 minutes in. Rams Panthers. As a Panthers fan, that game sucked. That game absolutely sucked against San Fran. Um, we had golden opportunities to win. We could have been in first place. Um, and now we're in a wacky spot, sitting at 6-6. Well, now that's great. I am glad that we're doing better, but we gotta be better than that. Anyways, unfortunately, Corey Thornton suffered a season-ending injury, with a fibula. He's out for the season. J.C. Horn is likely not playing due to a concussion that he suffered on Monday. I think it's too short. Hopefully, we can have him back by week 15. Trayvon Morig, unfortunately, he punched somebody in the groin, and now he's suspended for against the Rams, and we won't have him until week 15. Christian Roseboom was non-participant, and then Cade Mays is no, not league. Cade Mays is up in the air as well. He did not practice, so we could be very in for a long game on Sunday against the Rams. And we did get Isaiah Simmons to the practice squad, so I'm expecting him to be promoted because our linebacker depth is very thin. Although Trevin Wallace is expected to play, I'm expecting Simmons to be in there, Chris Barnes as well. And this is not going to be a fun game. I hope we can potentially keep it close against the Rams, but they're going to feed on us. They're the best team in the NFC. I'm going to say 35-17. It's probably going to be like it's probably going to be a butt kicking from week 8 against the Bills. It's probably going to be a butt kicking. I almost bleeped. But we have injuries left and right now on some players, and that's going to affect us. We're not healthy, and it's going to be like the game from week 8 that we got destroyed 40-9. I don't know, but it's gonna be like that because the Rams are hungry, and we're in a bleak spot right now. But it's gonna be more meaningful when we get to those games down the line potentially. So we'll have to wait and see. But Rams win 35-17. As a Panthers fan, I gotta brace myself. Vikings, Seahawks. I'm gonna just go the rest of them spam speed on it. I gotta be done with this. I'm gonna take Seattle win 31-10. I'm expecting Seattle to feast on Minnesota, regardless of who is in a quarterback. Bills, Steelers, close game, but the Bills survive 23-20. And then the Raiders and the Chargers. Give me the Chargers 13-24. Um, Sunday Night Football, Denver at Washington. Denver's really rusted, and they're going to feast on the Commanders' defense. 37-7. And then the Giants and the Patriots. I think this will be closer, but I think the Patriots are going to survive 19-27. Now, I went spam speed on this because I'm like yapping too long. But I hope you guys enjoy it. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the games today. And I'll see you guys next week for week number 14.